Talking about racing games again this week, and I'm really excited to play this one because not only has it got cars in it, but apparently they're supercars. I mean, it's right there in the title. Hello everybody, welcome to the re-review, the series where I get to replay and reassess games from my favourite gaming era. I'm Brian, also known as UKGN Zoidberg, and I like to live my life a quarter mile at a time. Video game miles at least. In this series, I like to take a selected Amiga title, see what the critical response to it was at the time of its release, tell you all about the people who made it, and then play it again to see if it's worth playing in 2025. Do I agree with what the original assessment said all those years ago? Or do I need to set the record straight? In this episode, I'm going to be taking a look at the overhead racing game Supercars 2, which was developed by Magnetic Fields and published by Gremlin Graphics in 1991. As long as I've been a gamer, there have been many companies who have earned the title King of Racing Games, whether that was Sega in the arcades, Namco in the PS1 and PS2 eras, or Codemasters on modern consoles. Back in the early 90s though, Gremlin Graphics were a more than worthy contender for the accolade. From the release of Combo Racer in 1989 to Top Gear 2 in 1994, they produced no fewer than 12 titles in the genre. Games like Team Suzuki and Celica GT4 were critical and commercial hits, but their biggest successes undoubtedly came with their collaborations with Magnetic Fields, who actually produced 6 out of the 12 games from their offices in Chester. The company only officially became Magnetic Fields in 1989. Before that, they were known as Mr. Chip Software and had been founded in 1982 by Sean Southern and Andrew Morris. Their early years were spent making games mainly for the Commodore 64 and VIC-20, and during this period their most well-known titles were Trailblazer, Kickstar and Formula One Simulator. The name change coincided with their switch to development on 16-bit machines, and the first game released as Magnetic Fields was Super Scramble Simulator, which was published by Gremlin. Clearly inspired by their earlier Kickstart games, and featuring the distinctive graphical style of Morris that the company would become known for, it is, for me at least, a bit of an underrated gem for anyone who likes a challenge. 1990 saw the team hit their stride with the releases of both Supercars and Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge. Supercars received praise for its playability and lasting challenge, whereas Lotus garnered near universal acclaim for its impressive 3D routines, speed and addictive arcade gameplay. Both games would receive sequels in 1991, with the Lotus trilogy being rounded out in 1992 with Lotus 3 The Ultimate Challenge. Right up until its release, that game had actually been previewed and advertised as Lotus 3 The Final Challenge, but clearly Gremlin decided for a less definitive title at the 11th hour. Not that it mattered, as there wasn't a fourth game. It was also in 1992 that they embarked on the development of their next game, which would actually be a departure from the racing genre. Cosmic Kitten, as it was called at the time, would be a fast action platform game not dissimilar to Sega's Sonic. Unfortunately, however, Gremlin decided that it was a little bit too similar to Zool, and so therefore a new publisher had to be found. It ended up at Ocean Software, but wouldn't see the light of day until late 1994. The troubled 2-year development saw the game's central character change from a cute kitty to a brutish caveman, and with it the title became Kid Chaos instead. There's a video all about this, including some of Andrew Morris's original character designs, on the Dreamcatcher YouTube channel that's well worth watching. A third Supercars game did come out for the PC in 1996, although Supercars International is more of a remix of the first two games than it is a full-blown sequel. There were no new tracks to race on, but it featured improved gameplay, 256 colour VGA graphics, but also brought back a lot of the shop and garage screens that had been a staple of the original game. In 1996 they made the leap to consoles with the release of Tommy Mackinnon Rally on the PlayStation, and they followed that in 1999 with Mobile 1 Rally Championship, and that was actually to be the last game to carry the Magnetic Fields name. Both of those games did review quite well, but they found themselves suffering in competition with both Infogram's V-Rally series and Codemasters' Colin McRae Rally. In 2021, an enhanced AGA version of Supercars 2 was released by conversion specialist JOTD, who has produced numerous Amiga conversions of arcade games. The full colour graphics were based on the PC version of Supercars International, and it can be downloaded for free from the itch.io page. Now though, it's time to see what the critics thought about Supercars 2 on its original release, as we check out the reviews. Supercars 2 has the honour of being the first ever GamesX Game of the Week, as the review appeared in the promotional issue, Issue 0. It received a glowing review from Alex Simmons, who said that it was a much improved sequel and easily the best overhead racing game around. It was awarded 5 X's out of 5. That promotional issue of GamesX was given away free with issue 20 of Amiga Action, and in that same issue they also reviewed the game and gave it a whopping 93%. In the Racing Game Super League they placed it at number 1, above both Stunt Car Racer and Lotus Esprit in 2nd and 3rd, respectively, and that shows you just why I split the categories up for my videos. Scores of 91% were given out by both CMVG and the 1 for 16-bit games. Both reviews called the game a huge improvement over the original game, although Richard Ledbetter from CMVG pointed out that he had also been a massive fan of that game. They also agreed that the inclusion of a 2-play mode made it a much more entertaining game overall. At the other end of the scale you had Amiga Computing, who gave it just 65% in their June issue. Despite the lowish score, they still praised the 2-play mode and said that it was a mostly worthwhile game, just not a massive leap in quality over the first. Amiga Power also gave it only 73%, stating that most of the changes that had been made unfortunately managed to emphasise the weakest parts of the game without really adding much. In total, there were 10 reviews that I found in UK magazines, with an average score equating to 85.2%. On the Lemon Amiga website, at the time of writing, it has a user score of 8.45 out of 10 from 302 votes. Now though, I'm going to load the game up and play it again for myself. It's time for the playtest. The way the cars behave and handle is instantly better than the first Supercars, and there's definitely more detail in the trackside. Has some nice simple controls with the fire to accelerate, although there is an option to have up to accelerate, although why anybody would pick that I have no idea. But pushing up or down on the joystick will fire your front or rear weaponry. It's like those rear missiles I just fired off there. That's got to be the leader there. Come on, let's see if I can catch him. No, not going to be able to do it now. Just like Lotus, all the other driver names are humorous takes on real-life drivers. So this is the first track that has a jump in it. Well, that's nice, thank you. I mean, weapons did exist in the original Supercars, but I don't think they were anywhere near the extent that they are in this one. There are times where this game feels like it's a war zone rather than a race. Oh, I'm in first. Oh, I was in first place at least until I got shot. Don't think I've mentioned anywhere else in this video the game's soundtrack, which is actually provided by Barry Leach, and he obviously has a number of games to his credit. But I honestly think that his work with magnetic fields probably stands as the pinnacle of what he did on the Amiga, with both Lotus 2 and this game. I think when you're playing it single player, you have to finish in the top 5 in order to be able to progress to the next circuit. So if you fail, then it is game over and right back to track 1 again. And there are three difficulty levels with a number of tracks in each. So to that degree of things, I think the 2-player mode with its split screen actually allows you to learn the tracks a little bit better, because as long as one of the 2 cars finishes in the top 5, you will continue. I suppose it would have been nice for the game to actually point out which of the cars that's on screen, seeing as they're all white. It would have been nice for it to point out which one is actually the leader in this instance. Ooh, that mine almost got placed right in front of me there. I'm guessing the reason why there's no music during the race
is probably because of the sheer number of explosions that are happening. The fact that you probably wouldn't be able to have both. Oh, here we go. Let's see if I can gain some championship points by demonstrating my knowledge of the highway code. If you are reversing and another car approaches, stop and wait for them to pass, yeah. Level crossing on a train is due. If your wheels are locked and skid, what should you do? Turn into the skid. But hey, I earned myself an extra 3 championship points. I don't think there were any races in the original supercars that had this number of laps in them. But this is a very short track, so it's probably acceptable in this instance. I think that is the first time I've managed to do this track without actually hitting the train. I'm going to be fined by people in charge of noise and car pollution. Cats against the bomb. £4,500 fine. Wow. Well, I think the car in third must have crashed over that jump then, because I've not overtaken anybody. But I hope nothing happens to take away my prize money from this race, because my damage level is quite low. It's getting quite low. Ooh, a sponsor. Maybe some extra cash from his company. What can I get? What's the most important add-on? And this is like Super Sprint in that it's got gates that will open that can provide a shortcut if necessary. Not that I'm ever going to use them. I managed to make it into first place. Happy with that. Yay! Yes, I'm the champion of the easy level. Now try medium. I know it doesn't sound like much, but one thing that the first game didn't have very much of at all is sections of road at a 45-degree angle, like that one there. But it does make all the difference in terms of track design. Opposition cars really are a little bit too aggressive in terms of how many rockets they fire off, especially when you get onto the harder difficulty levels. Okay, so there's optional route there, one that's got a jump on it. I'm only in 7th place. This is not looking good. I think this course could well be my undoing, although I have somehow managed to get third. Well, that's not hardly fair, is it? Does honestly feel like there's more luck than skill involved in winning these races. Because I'm not gaining positions here because I'm driving really well. I'm gaining positions because enemy cars are being taken out by other enemy cars. Jumps and level crossings on a circular type course. I honestly think this game would be better if it had an option to switch off the weaponry and just race. You don't mind losing races in games like this when it's your fault, but when it's because you got bombarded with missiles or couldn't avoid crashing into a train, for instance, it just ends up being frustrating. Oh no, game over, because my car blew up. So anyway, I think that's probably a good place to end the playtest. So let's move on and summarise my feelings in the re-review.
I don't know what it is about magnetic fields and sequels, but Supercars 2 follows a similar pattern to Lotus 2 in that both games improve many things over their original releases, while at the same time stripping away many features that were great first time around. Compared to the original Supercars, this has better graphics, more interesting track design, and a split-screen 2-player mode. But what it doesn't have is more cars to spend your winnings on, and it's a far less interesting single-player experience. Let's talk about the good things first though. Almost without exception, the tracks here are more exciting and they're a lot of fun to learn. There's more trackside detail and the cars react believably to every change in elevation. Split screen doesn't obscure your view as much as you'd think, and as a two-player game this is a hugely entertaining experience, especially once both players have learned all of the tracks. For me though, all the main problems stem from the use of weaponry. Opposition cars feel like they have an over-reliance on rockets in order to beat you, and it ends up feeling like you need more luck than skill in order to win races. There were times when I was bombarded with rockets before I'd even taken the first corner, and after that no amount of player skill was going to allow me to compete for the win. In the overhead racing game Super League, I ended up placing Supercars 2 right behind its predecessor, although both games are ones that I would recommend. You can check out the full video elsewhere on the channel for full explanations of why I placed all of the games where I did. At the end of the day, Supercars 2 is an excellent racing game, but the level of frustration that the weapons bring to it lower it to a 7 out of 10 as a single player experience. It's also an excellent two-player game though, and that bumps the score back up to an 8 out of 10.
Hey, has anybody told you about the VIP memberships that we do right here on the channel? Not only will you get early access to most of the videos that we post, you'll also get exclusive access to full reruns of any live streams that we do, plus exclusive membership content. You'll even get one of these little badges that you can put on your name whenever you comment on anything, just to show people how long you've been a member for. If that sounds like something that might be of interest to you, it's only £1.99 a month, and you can find full details of how you can become a member in the video description, or just click the link on screen right now. You'll even get to help us choose what games we cover in future episodes of both the Re-Review and Retro Game Super Leagues. So why not check it out?
Thank you for watching this re-review of Supercars 2. I really hope you enjoyed it. If this looks like a game that you'd like to play, then it's actually one of the pre-installed games on the A500 Mini. And both Supercars games are also available to play on Antstream. Whether you agree or disagree with any of my thoughts on the game, I'd love to hear your opinions of it in the comments. This series will be back in 2 weeks' time, taking a look at Rough and Tumble from Renegade, but if there are any games that you'd like to see me cover in future episodes, you can send your suggestions to me by email to reviews@ukgamingnetwork.com. Thank you to everybody who's already sent those suggestions in. If you do enjoy this series, please remember to give us a like and subscribe, as it really does show your support for the channel. And please also bear in mind that if you want to catch these videos earlier than anybody else, you can do so by becoming a VIP member for just £1.99 a month. Full details of how you can do that is in the video description below. Once again, thank you for watching, and until next time, happy retro gaming, bye for now.